Good morning, friends. Welcome to part 39, the married life position number 4, adjustment and changes. In part 38, we have seen that during these 3 stages, when there is heated arguments and misunderstanding between husband and wife, the children are affected to a greater extent, and in part 38, we have seen about the effect of this on father and son. And many times the son will develop an affinity towards mother, and most of his requirements and problems he will get through the mother, and he will try to keep the distance between father even in getting his advice, and many times there is an emotional disturbance between father and son, and sometimes because of this the son may also tend to leave the house when they get married, because many times the father used to tell that whenever they are in heated argument with his wife, he may use the emotional blackmail like leave the house, and that shows this seed for the son to leave the house later. Now, in this part 39, we will see married position number 4, adjustment and change. Now, when the third 3 stages complete, it almost takes around 20-25 years of their married life. Now the children have become little grown up, and they also come to understand about the misunderstanding between father and mother, quarreling always. They find that even though both of them are very lovable in nature, what separates them is their ego problem, because they are seeing mother loving the son and father loving the daughter to a greater extent. So, since they are now grown up, they take up the responsibility to bridge the gap between father and mother. And all these days, the father and mother are also under psychological pressure that they could not discuss what actually is the problem between them with anyone. So they start discussing with the children. Father talks with the daughter and mother talks to the son. And when the children takes some efforts in resolving the disputes between them, then one of them takes the first step in bringing the change. They learn that the first tool required is to forgive the other person. In fact, to forgive the other person is the greatest challenge in our life. It is easily said, but to forgive a person who has done harm to us mentally is very, very difficult. For that, if we have suffered also, it takes enormous efforts and mental preparation to forgive a person. So, forgiving a person is not as easy as possible. But many times, once you start forgiving a person, there is a tremendous shift in your mental makeup. This I will explain with a true story. Once we were coming from Marimala Nagar in Chengalpattu district near Chennai towards Chennai, and it was a peak summer season. So in Chennai there are only 3 seasons: hot, hotter and hottest. So this was the hottest period, and when we reached near Singaperumal Koil, a place, there was a terrific traffic jam. Both the sides were filled with vehicles, and not an inch or not a single vehicle was moving. So I told, since those days Ambassador, we had only 2 varieties, either Ambassador car or Fiat. Both very rarely they had AC, air conditioned vehicles. So it was very difficult to sit in the car. So I told my wife, I will go and see what is happening. So when I went there, there was a big quarrel between the bus crew and the public. This particular bus, it seems, was not stopping in that particular stop during afternoon, and many people were put into inconvenience. So when I went near the argument area, one fellow raised his hand to hit the driver. I just caught the hand in time and said I am an officer from a public sector bank, and I asked them what exactly is the problem. So they said this particular driver was not stopping the bus there. So I just to reduce the tension, I said whatever this driver has done, I apologize on behalf of the driver. Now the driver caught my hand and said, sir, there is absolutely no space in this bus. It is extremely difficult for people inside even to stand and travel. And when there is no space in this bus, how can I stop my bus to add some more people? And you have apologized my behalf as if I have done a mistake. So I turned towards the driver and said, I apologize on behalf of these people who stopped your vehicle. Now both of them caught my hand. Who are you to apologize? You are making a fool of us. Who are you to apologize? Then I said, you see, these are the people who have been stranded for the last 1 hour or so because of a small problem, and on behalf of all these people who could not go to school, office or hospital, I apologize on behalf of them. But I will give you one assurance. Being a person in some official capacity, I will discuss with the transport authorities tomorrow, and we will do whatever possible at least to start a cut service from this village or from this place to Chennai during these hours. And somehow they agreed and the traffic was dispersed. Now my vehicle was in the middle of the road. I came running back to my car. When I started my car, my wife asked what exactly is the problem. So when I explained everything, she asked me, what? You have apologized to those people? Then I said with folded hands, please forgive me. Please remember. And all the people in the car laughed. Please remember, forgiving is the most difficult one, we understand. But once you start forgiving, you will find that there is a tremendous change in you physically. Because all along when you were in anger with your spouse, your whole body language has changed very often. This body language, the first step that is required to bring change is to change our body language. For example, see, when we meet somebody in the morning, we will say, hi, good morning. Then the other person knows that you are in a very good, happy mood. But when he says good morning and when your response is good morning, that means immediately he feels something is not good with you or something bad happened. So immediately he asks, hey, what happened? So along with the message, our body also conveys a different language. The body also speaks a different language. The other day, one person was coming opposite to me. So he greeted, good morning, sir. Since I have been in the training college at the bank, I thought maybe some of the officers who have attended the training program. So I also said, maybe one of the officers who attended the training programs. So I also said, good morning, sir. The other person immediately said, not to you, sir. My friend is coming behind. Then I stopped him and said, you conveyed me good morning. I also said good morning to you. We could have just left like that. Why do you want me to call back and say, this is not for you? Do you mean to say my morning should be bad? Morning should be bad? I joked and just laughed and we went off. The point is, when we convey even good morning, tremendously, it brings a positive energy in the other person. Once a writer went to Tibet and he was invited by his colleague to his house. He went to their house and he called his 6-year-old son and said, uncle has come, please give him your greetings. So the boy in Tibetan style folded both his arms on the chest and said, Tasi Dilai. Now the visitor asked him, so what this means? He said, when we say Tasi Dilai, this means I respect the greatness in you. And the child asked the visitor, sir, how do you greet your people? He said, we will say hello. when we meet people. Then the child innocently asked, when you say hello, do you also mean that you respect the greatness in the other person? The guest was really shocked. Somehow he managed to say, many times we say mechanically hello even without conveying anything. But in few occasions when we give hello with a positive energy, it brings tremendous welcome to the other person. Most of the times we hear this in our telephonic conversation with public sector units. The moment you say ring up to them, they will say how they respond to your call with that hello will decide how your request will be taken up. So it is very important that if we have to make a change in our life, we have to commence with change in our body language. This body language, when anger, when smiling, when disappointment, with all the emotional feelings striking us, when surprised or when in doubt, all this, the whole body conveys a language which will be easily seen by the other person. So, how we communicate with the other person, how our body language communicates. For the 25 years when the husband and wife were fighting with each other, the moment somebody comes with a negative energy, the body also becomes very stiff and it also emanates lot of energy, lot of negative energy. So it is very important for us to understand that the first thing to initiate change in our behavior, change in our attitude, change in our interpersonal relationship is to see what is body language, to know about the body language, and also in particular communication. When we communicate, how we communicate, what are the implications in communication, how the communication, many times it is misunderstood by the other person. All about this we will see in our next edition, number 40, on communication. So friends, we have come to a midpoint in our long journey of stress management, and we await for your feedback, and also we will meet next week on communication and how it affects interpersonal relationship, particularly when there is tremendous stress and tension. Thank you very much. Have a good day.